Welcome back to Film Buff Bros, and in this episode, we're going to rank our favorite Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I'll go from worst to best. Kill Bill, he's a great director, and I'm not saying that they're bad films. It's just like really not my cup of tea. It's just very like over the top, with that exploitation kind of style and mixed with like the kung fu films and these whip zooms and shit, and just really not a fan. Cool scoring though, I will say. RZA doing the scoring. Number 7, Inglourious Bastards. Not a huge fan of meta fiction, when they're rewriting history, but I did like Christoph Waltz a lot in it. Found him super compelling. I think he's the best aspect of the movie. Oh yeah, and then in between 7 and 8 there, I have Death Proof. Again, kind of, shticky with that grindhouse, exploitation kind of style. However, I really like Kurt Russell. We discussed that before, his performance when he gets shot. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I like Bruce Dern in it. I like Brad Pitt in it. Again, not a huge fan of rewriting history. And I like Leonardo DiCaprio in it. I'm not a huge fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, especially like his later work. But I thought, when he's crying and he's trying to revive his career, I thought it's one of his better, newer roles. Number 5, Hateful Eight. It's quite slow, good performances, but it's just a little too slow for my taste. However, there's lots of good performances in it. And then in between, number 4 is Jackie Brown, and in between that I put Four Rooms. Super funny. I assume the one he directed is like the last one where they're cutting off the finger with the, is it the cigar cutter or a hatchet? I think it is.
It's a hatchet.
They're cutting off the finger. So Jackie Brown, great performance by Robert De Niro, Michael Keaton, and then the guy who's listening to the Delphonics. I thought he did a really good job. Pam Grier does a good job. Jodie Foster, very well acted. Chris Tucker, Samuel L. Jackson. Not a terribly compelling plot, or the pacing of the plot. Anyway, number 3, Reservoir Dogs. Great performances, especially by Tim Roth. And Harvey Keitel and Chris Penn and Lawrence Tierney, Steve Buscemi, Michael Madsen. Like, oh man, just like seeing that as a kid is just like, oh, a cop gets his ear cut off in it, and it's just like the soundtrack and just marvelous. Number 2, Django. Love the movie. Super high stakes. Takes place in a terrible era in history. I think Jamie Foxx does a tremendous performance. Another really good performance by Leonardo DiCaprio. I think his over-the-top performance, I think he's good with like comedy, and it is kind of a comedy. He plays a comical, like dark performance. You're kind of laughing at his depravity in it. And then number 1, of course, Pulp Fiction. Great plot, so well paced, not linear. Great performances by Bruce Willis, John Travolta, Tim Roth. Yeah, marvelous film. One, like, I've never really discussed it before. I don't think I've ever discussed Pulp Fiction, but yeah, it's got to be in my top 10. We never really have done a top 10. We've done a top 5, but Pulp Fiction's probably in my top 10.
Yeah, it was in my top, I think, 12, like, for the longest time. It probably still is. Interesting director. A lot of people say he plagiarizes. I think there's some credence to the fact that he, whatever word you want to use, but he takes from other movies, sometimes like really on the nose. But that said, he does have his own signature. So number 9 for me, I really didn't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because I saw it in theater and everyone's laughing and I didn't get it, and I kind of thought them changing the ending was kind of disrespectful to history. But he's done that multiple times now in movies. I should have expected it. Yeah, it's slowly growing on me, but I also still don't like it, and I really just couldn't give a shit. Like, I really just couldn't care too much about rich Hollywood people and their problems. But
what's one aspect of it you like?
That the humor I see, like, a little bit more. The humor I'm starting to find out, but I really didn't laugh like at all in the theater. And everyone around me laughing. I'm like, am I just stupid? Like, I don't get it. But Death Proof, yeah. not a big fan of just like girls talking in a car like for an hour and a half. Yeah, Kurt Russell, fantastic in that movie. I wish that movie was like just like a 5 minute short. Like Django, I don't know. I'm surprised. Like your list, I'm really surprised at where you put Inglorious and put Django. I'm just not a fan of Django. I don't know what it is. I don't like Jamie Foxx particularly. Yeah, I would say this is one of his better performances. But I do like that actor,
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph. And yeah, there's comedy in that movie too with Calvin Candy Cane or whatever his name is in that. But yeah, Kill Bill 1 and 2. Again, I'm not a big martial arts guy. Great actors in the movie. Cool kind of layout, how he paced it and edited it and cut it. But just fighting movies, just like where people fighting the whole time, just kind of boring to me. Inglourious Bastards, it's all right. I mean, the opening scene is credible, where he goes to the guy and they're under the floor. I mean, that exercise in tension is incredible there, and Tarantino's great at that. And the film is beautifully shot. And but again, I'm not a big Brad Pitt fan, and sometimes he beats jokes to death too much in the film. So, and it's just like I'm not a big gory kind of like beating someone to death, hearing the sound of their brains melting. It's not my cup of tea. Res Dogs, number 4. It's all right. He said he was trying to do like the movie The Thing, have like all these guys stuck in this one place. And there's great actors in the movie and great performances in the movie. Again, just like too talky and just, I don't know. Like I usually like the claustrophobic one location places. Something about the movie, it's just I can't even put my finger on what it is about the movie. It's just not really rewatchable for me. Again, like cutting off the ear and stuff. Like yes, it's groundbreaking kind of violence, but not a big violence guy. Pulp Fiction, number 3, great film. Yeah, can't believe we've never done this film. I'd like to like just do some of these films like one at a time and spend more time on them. But Pulp Fiction, great performances, great story layout, great camera work. Like the rape scene is fucking like out of nowhere. Like it's just he just takes these huge left turns in his movies. He comes out of the bathroom, poster pops up, shoots him. Like the mundane conversations. Pulp Fiction must watch. Jackie Brown is my second favorite. I really like it. I like the Motown feel of it. I like that they're taking like black exploitation films, but putting this old white guy, this old weathered white guy in there, who's just, he's not even like, he's kind of failed. He probably would have been a cop if he could. And yeah, it's just super like rewatchable movie for me. I just like the music. It's almost like a music video, like that Jackie Brown to me. Yeah, the stakes could have been higher because it's just a heist thing, but still, it's more the aesthetic I like about that. And number 1 for me for Tarantino is actually Hateful Eight. Nobody like agrees with me about this movie. I loved it when it came out because I really loved The Thing. So it was like to have Ennio Morricone's score on there. These beautiful, wide, cinescope fucking wide shots he was taking. The claustrophobia, you can hear the wind coming through the slats on the walls. Just, again, the aesthetic of that movie, the clever dialogue he's got. The guy pops up out of the ground. Dude gets shot in the balls. I mean, there's just so many things in that movie that, I really enjoy Hateful Eight. I can rewatch it all the time. It's got an atmosphere to it, especially at winter to watch that movie. I went on for a long time there.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, no, I definitely need to watch Hateful Eight again because that's like midway in my list. But yeah, no, I think that the Hateful Eight kind of, it was almost like a collaboration of like a lot of his styles, you know, with those kind of, you know, jump scare-esque moments and like lots of tension, and then like the very like stylized camera work. He was kind of really harkening back. He was using those cinescope like lenses, these old like MGM like lenses, and he was definitely trying to make that seem more, not more nostalgic, but like older, like post exploitation. You know, it was more of like a 60s kind of feel to it, you know?
It does feel like a jumble or whatever, a jambalaya of all these different genres. And he taken from that Hitchcock kind of thing of like revealing stuff to the secrets to the audience first, but not to the characters.
Yeah.
So we're watching the character. We know, but the character doesn't know yet.
Yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Tune in next week for another episode, and please click down below to like and subscribe, and pretty please leave a comment to let us know what kind of movies you want us to review next.
Thank you for watching.